For more on U.S.-Cuba relations, I spoke to William Leo Grant. He has written extensively on negotiations between Washington and Havana. He's also a professor of Latin American politics at American University. And I asked him how soon he sees Washington removing Cuba from the list of state sponsors of terrorism. Here's what he had to say.
So the law requires that the State Department undertake a review of whether or not Cuba is qualified to be removed from the list. And that requires that the Cuban government not have involved itself in the sponsor of international terrorism for the past 6 months, and that it makes certain commitments that it won't be involved in sponsoring international terrorism going forward. So right now the State Department is consulting with the intelligence community, collecting information to make a recommendation to the President as to whether or not Cuba meets the requirements for being removed from the list. Then the President will make a judgment and report to Congress as to what his judgment is, and the Congress has some time to consider that and comment on it. The Congress doesn't really have the ability to reverse the President's judgment unless it passes a law, which the President then could veto. So that's very unlikely. This is really something that's in the President's hands. But until he receives the recommendation from the State Department, I think it will be a month or two before we'll see that resolved.
What are some things to watch? What will you be looking for coming out of this in the coming weeks, coming months?
One of the big things coming up, of course, is the Summit of the Americas, where the presidents of the Western Hemisphere get together in Panama in April. Raul Castro will be there, Barack Obama will be there, and it wouldn't surprise me if they had some side discussions, just the two of them on their own, to talk about how to move the relationship between the two countries forward. So that's going to be a very big event. In the Congress, there will be a variety of pieces of legislation introduced to lift the embargo completely, to lift the ban on tourist travel, and to lift the restrictions that exist now on agricultural sales to Cuba. And so it will be interesting to see how that debate in Congress begins to unfold.